There are some books which we see all over the internet. All the booktubers and bookstagrammers seem to be talking about them. And sometimes we pick a book just because of all the hype surrounding them. But are all the hype books worth a read? In today's video, booktubers share the books where they were fooled by the hype. Stay tuned. Hello everyone, I am Shaloo. Welcome to my channel where I post videos related to books. If you are new here, then do subscribe to my channel for new bookish videos every week. Today's video is a special one because some amazing booktubers are joining me for a collab. It is no secret that social media has the power to skyrocket book sales. But are all these trending books worth the hype? So I thought, why not ask my fellow booktubers to share the books where they were fooled by the hype surrounding them. A big thank you to all the booktubers who are a part of this video. You may be familiar with some of them, while some may be new to you. I will leave their channel links in the description box. Do check out their channels and the amazing content they create. I really enjoyed making this video and I hope you also enjoy watching it. Make sure to watch the video till the end. Now without further ado, let's get started.
Hello all, I'm Sai and I want to thank Shaloo ma'am first of all for including me inside this collab. The book which I was super hyped for and got disappointed by very recently is Samsara Enter the Valley of the Gods by Saksham Garg, which is the first book inside a YA fantasy series that is based on Hindu mythology. The thing which disappointed me the most when it comes to this book is the writing of the author and the way in which he has developed or written each and every one of his characters. The writing was very basic in its tone and it also felt like the author had rushed up many instances inside the book just to finish a chapter and move on to the next. Next, talking about the characters, none of the characters inside the book is properly developed and there is also an overload of characters for such a short book. The marketing of this book is great, but if they had spent a little bit of that money into editing, I think this could be far better. So I'm not telling you to not read this book, but please don't have very high expectations because you might be disappointed just like I was.
I'm Maya from the channel Bookshot. For the fooled by the hype thing, I want to talk about two books. Now, I don't hate these books, but I feel that they are way too much hyped for no reason. Book number one is Ghachar Ghochar by Vivek Shanbag. Now, this is a book with an open-ended climax. I am not a big fan of open-ended climaxes. If I don't understand what happened towards the end of the story, that do not make sense to me. The book number two is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Now, this book has a huge fan base. I even understand what this book is all about and what is the idea behind writing that kind of a story. But at the same time, it felt so repetitive at some point and I was just bored reading this book and the hype was way too much for me to, digest. So yeah, thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Meera. I have a YouTube channel called Meera Nair where I talk about books and TV shows. One of the most hyped books that I did not like at all is The Atlas 6. This is about 6 magicians who get chosen to become initiates at a secret society. But these magicians don't know what's at stake in order to become a member of the society. One of the main reasons why I did not like it at all is because there's very little plot-oriented action. As you read the book, you feel like the characters are just constantly discussing about each other. They're discussing about the thoughts and ideas they have. They're talking about doing magic. They're talking about science and the world, but they're doing very little. Moreover, there were many passages which felt like they were curated. It was like looking at a mood board of fancy quotes and these deep thoughts. And I don't mind that essentially, but none of this lends anything of value to the plot progression or even to character development. So on the whole, I was just very disappointed, and it's very difficult for me to be disappointed with a fantasy novel because I love fantasy fiction. So you can imagine just how severely underwhelmed I was when I was reading this book. I would not recommend The Atlas 6 to anyone. If you've seen the hype surrounding it, if you've seen the posts about it, the rave reviews, take all of that with a pinch of salt, okay? There's so much more I want to say about this book, but then we'll be here all day. So I suggest that you go check out my review on my blog, which you will find on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Shaloo, for including me in this collab.
Hi everyone, this is Sunshine from Kissakor and I'm going to talk about Verity by Colin Hoover in this video. That sigh is the level of disappointment I had with the book. I felt there was no character arc in the book. The three protagonists of the book are highly unrelatable, and the level of smut in the book. I mean, I get it. The book comes under the genre of romantic thriller, but that doesn't mean you'll fill the book with smut. I had to literally start skimming through those pages to get to the actual story. The author has provided us with a lot of informations here and there. Some are good, some are bad. But by the time you reach the end of the book and you read that climax, you feel all those information that you had read before is completely useless because there's no connection of those with the end. I actually felt that the ending of the book was most negative point of the book. For me, this book actually didn't live up to the hype, and well, that's that.
Hi guys, I'm Siddhi. I go by the name Book Gobbler on Instagram. One book that fooled me because of its hype, which I recently read in the month of May, was Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. Now, this book is cute but not overtly so. It is a YA romance rom-com, but I think it could have been so much better. This is a story of Pepper and Jack. It is an enemies to lovers trope. Jack and Pepper are arch nemesis, and unknowingly they get into a Twitter war with each other, and this war brings them closer. There are certainly friendly and witty banters in this book, but the premise had a lot of potential in my view, and it went unexplored. Because of the hype over the years, ever since it released, I was actually lured to read this book, but I think I was literally enduring this book. I wanted it to finish. I never DNF books. I don't usually DNF books. So this was one book which was not up to the mark in my view, not worth the hype at all.
The book that I want to talk about is It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. The sequel was not necessary in my opinion. It is clearly fan service and a massive cash grab. Colleen herself said in an interview that she wrote this sequel as a thank you to the fans of It Ends With Us. It Ends With Us should have stayed a standalone. It had the perfect bittersweet ending. This sequel was just average and didn't add anything interesting or new to the overall story. There was no emotional punch and no real conflict. Sure, I enjoy a happy ending, but not when the story is so predictable. And the story in this book progresses and ends just the way I had expected. And that doesn't make for an enthralling read.
Hey you guys, this is Sonali from Traveling Pages. Shaloo ma'am, thank you so much for having me. And now that we're talking about the hype books that disappointed me, I think I'm going to disappoint a lot of audience here right now. Because the book that I'm going to talk about is actually a book series which I started reading recently because it is so much hyped that I can't even tell you about it. And I just finished one book in the series and this was my reaction. I just completed listening the Twisted Love book I was listening to. I have no thoughts. I have absolutely no thoughts. I just want you people to tell me that the next part of the book, I mean the second, third and fourth books are better than this. Are they? I am on the verge of DNFing the book, but I don't want to leave the series in the middle if the other books are actually good. I mean, this book made no sense. I'm sorry if I'm triggering a huge fandom here, but please, Ava, Alex, oh my god, that guy is just on my nerves. I can't take him. I swear I would have slapped him if he was a real character. But Ava is not able to do that. I'm not sure why. And I am not sure what is this book. No offense to anyone, but guys, if any boy, girls especially, if any boy is giving you orders like Alex is giving to Ava, that's the biggest red flag. If someone is stalking you like Alex is stalking Ava, that's the second biggest red flag. Just walk out of it. What's the oh my god. And it did not get better, you people. Did not get better. I DNF the series. I hated the characters. I mean, hate is a very strong word. I did not like at all. I mean, red flags. Very clear red flags until unless you're colorblind. But yeah, that was so much of red flags. I mean, okay guys, I think you might be into Anna Huang's writing, but that was a big no for me. I'm really sorry to everyone who loves the Twisted book series, but for me, it was a big no. I am so sorry, you people. Yeah, so once again, thank you so much, Shaloma, for having me. This was such a great experience talking about the books that I don't like, even though people are going to hate me now.
Hello there, I'm Sonali from the channel The Melodramatic Bookworm. One popular hyped book that I do not like is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. This is a story of Peter Pan, who is a magical kind of boy who doesn't ever grow up. So he has now come to a middle class home to look for his shadow, and in that process he teaches the children over there to how to fly with the help of obviously pixie dust and all. There was so much sexism and misogyny in there, embedded in there. We are talking about a children's classic that exists to give children a kind of hope, to fill them with a kind of awe for everything magical in the world. What this book does is show up a lot of sexist stuff in the way that Peter treats the girls in the story, and also in the way Tinkerbell is shown. I know that it is very well loved, but I just don't think that that is the kind of thing we need to teach our children. I'm going to leave it at that, and thank you, Shaluji, for having me on your channel.
Hey guys, it's Asha here. To begin with, I'd like to thank Shaloo. Shaloo, thank you very much for having me be a part of this collaboration where we are talking about overhyped books. The book that I'm going to talk about is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I am going to quickly give you 3 reasons why I felt this book was so overhyped and it's so underdelivered and so badly at that, and I was so bloody disappointed, and I'm going to tell you the exact reasons why I felt how I felt. So the first is the writing itself. The writing of this book did not go down well with me because, well, to think about it, the minute you hear poetry, there's a certain scheme, there's a certain writing style, there's a certain pattern, richness of language, the craft that comes to your mind. All of that is lacking big time in this book. The second thing I want to talk about is the content itself, as in the length of the content. And for 204 odd pages, this book hardly has any meat. So for one thing, I was glad that I didn't buy this book. I got like a free Kindle copy on Amazon, so I didn't have to buy it. But if you're planning to buy this book, that is something you may want to consider, guys, because for that many number of pages, there's hardly any content. Most of the pages are empty. There's like small paragraphs at the start of the book, there's some small illustrations at the end of it, but that's about it. Now the theme of this book is quite sensitive, guys. It's based around sexual abuse, rape and stuff like that, and serious readers of this book, or serious readers of poetry, for lovers of poetry, these have been so half-baked, and these have been so raw and so unpolished that they don't ring a bell, they don't stay with you, and you don't feel anything. I mean, basically they fail to arouse any kind of emotions in the reader. So that's in short 3 things why I felt Rupi Kaur's Milk and Honey was so overhyped. That's my thought on the book. If you've read the book, please do tell me what you felt about it. Did you also think that this was overhyped, like seriously overhyped? Goodbye.
Hello, I'm Mrinalini Raj. Now, first of all, thank you so much, Shaluji, for inviting me for this collaboration. Now, Shaluji asked me to share a book which is very popular but I think is a little overrated. Now, this novel is about the coming of age of a teenage white boy. Now, when I was reading this novel, I was already out of my teenage, aware of concepts like post-colonialism. And when I was reading this novel, I read it from the position of a third world woman and a post-colonial reader. So I couldn't exactly relate to this novel, probably because of my cultural position, and largely because of that I couldn't exactly understand or relate to the hype that surrounds this book, largely because of the lack of relatability, probably because there was a large cultural difference and the kind of issues we face usually in our region. In the third world countries are to some extent a little different from the kind of problems a teenage white boy was facing in a first world country. But having said that, as an art of fiction, I really found that the book was good, but maybe it did not touch me to the extent the whole hype around this book has been. So this was the book that I had to share with you people. Again, thank you so much, Shaluji, for inviting me for this collaboration. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name's Ansu, and today I'm going to talk about a hyped book that I wasn't a fan of, and I'm going to get right into it. It was Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. Everyone seems to really enjoy this book quite a lot, the concept and everything, and I was really let down by this. We're following around Sadie and Sam, who kind of knew each other from when they were kids and they had a falling out, and now they're in college and they accidentally meet each other and they become friends again and develop a game. It's their relationship through developing this game and just connecting like that, being friends, problems of like working together and things like that. I think the main thing that really put me off in this book was our main character Sadie had this really toxic relationship that she was part of, and that person continuously came in throughout the book, and I didn't really care for him. There's a bit of like grief that was kind of mentioned in this book. I thought that was pretty well done, but for some reason I did not have any connection with Sadie or Sam and their friendship. I just did not care for these two characters at all. I was so disappointed. Like, I had such high expectations and I just did not care for this at all. But this is the book that I wanted to talk about. I would like to thank Shaloo for giving me an opportunity to chat about one of the hyped books that I did not like in this video. Thanks so much for watching.
Hi everyone, I'm Rashmeet Kaur from Kitabi Bully Ladki. The hyped book that I didn't like is Midnight Library by Matt Haig. The book follows the story of a 35-year-old woman, Nora, who is unhappy with her life and she decides to end it. On waking up, she finds herself in this midnight library, something that is between life and death. This library consists of alternative versions of Nora's life, each book representing a different life had she made different choices. Nora is given a second chance to live in any of these alternative lives. The whole concept of magic library and fantasy fiction captivated me. But as I read it, I realized that this is a very cliché and predictable self-help manual which I didn't sign up for. The second thing I didn't like is the author's approach towards mental health issues. Now, according to the author, if you change your outlook towards the life, everything is gonna be magically right. Now sweetie, this is the most Asian thing I have heard in my life, and coming from a renowned author like Matt Haig, it didn't sit right with me. So these were the two prominent reasons I couldn't understand the hype around it. So that's it, and thank you Shaloo ma'am for this opportunity.
So that's all for today's video. I once again thank all my booktuber friends. All their channel links are in the description box. Do check them out and show some love. And if you have enjoyed this video, then please like, comment and share. And if you want to see more such bookish videos, then please subscribe to my channel and do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Until my next video, bye and take care.